So when we last covered the David Coote case here on the footballchronicle.com, I basically said that, it was right that he was sacked, that he deserved to be sacked. I said that very clearly from the very start, pretty much, even before some of the more nefarious allegations came to light. But I also said that the guy has a problem. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I just said that he has a problem in terms of his personal life that is causing him to, treat his ailments, as it were, with things such as drugs, with things such as alcohol, maybe even worse as well during that first video that we saw. Also, on top of that as well, the alleged, the bribery things, the match fixing things in the last video, last bit of evidence, I should say, the messages on WhatsApp, which were, really, really horrible. And the guy absolutely deserved to be sacked, no doubt about it. But I knew that we'd hear from David Coote eventually. It was only a matter of time before he wanted to tell his side of the story, because there's always two sides to every story at the end of the day, and we hadn't really heard from Coote, just that he denied the allegations, which turns out they probably are true. I don't think he's outright admitted what he's done. He's apologized for at least some of what he was alleged to have done. But let's have a look at this, guys. I'll read out the article here on BBC Sport, because this took a turn that I was not expecting. I'll just cut to the chase, because you've probably already heard it by now, but David Coote has come out as a homosexual. He's come out as gay, and that is one of the reasons, at least, why he is kind of attributing to what he did. But let me just read the article out here, and then I'll give my thoughts on this, because I've got one or two thoughts. I've got one or two thoughts about this whole thing and everything. So shout out to the BBC Sport for covering this. It's meant that I've not had to go to the website of the abhorrent newspaper, which I refuse to say the name of, and I will not say the name of during this video either, if it does appear in the article. But an exclusive interview with the three-letter newspaper, which, I don't go on there unless I absolutely have to. I don't go on there, and I feel wrong when I go on there. And I know a lot of people share that sentiment too, so I've gone to the BBC for this rather than the exclusive interview itself. Former Premier League referee David Coote has said he hid his sexuality during his career, fearing the abuse he would receive for being gay. Coote, 42 years of age, said the pressure of his work contributed to the behaviour that led to his sacking by the PGMOL in December. Speaking to the newspaper in an interview published on Monday night, he said, "I'm gay and I have struggled with feeling proud about me over a long period of time. I have received deeply unpleasant abuse during my career as a referee, and to add my sexuality to that would have been really difficult." Coote, who officiated more than 100 top-flight games, gave his first interview to the newspaper, which led the reporting of his misconduct. In a separate statement issued late on Monday, he apologised for the behaviour that led to his sacking, saying, "This has been one of the most difficult periods of my life. I take full responsibility for my actions, which fell well below what was expected of me. I am truly sorry for any offence caused by my actions and for the negative spotlight it put on the game that I love. I hope that people will understand that they were private moments taken during very low times in my life. They do not reflect who I am today or what I think." Just to cut in with that, though. Private moments. They would have been private moments, David, if he didn't film it and send it to these people, right? The video, the little video of him, and again, I know his head was not in the right place when he did these things, but they're not private moments. They would have been, but he filmed them. He filmed himself taking that white powder, that white substance that we all know was probably cocaine or something similar to that anyway, a class A drug of some description. He did that. He chose to film that and he chose to send that to somebody. He also chose to be in the video of him speaking to that person, apparently a cricketer. I've heard he's a cricketer in Nottinghamshire or something like that, although I've not had that confirmed. Whoever it was, the person who was egging him on to say things and being like, "Oh, we can't let this get out, guys, it might ruin his career." Well, guess what, mate? It did. That and a few other things too. Those would have been private moments if they had not been shared in the public because you let them get out. I'm not saying that, you should keep these things under wraps and stuff, but those were not private moments when you did that. Same with those WhatsApp messages as well, alleging match fixing, the West Brom and Leeds match. That would have been a private thing had you not sent it, and people can always share this stuff. I'm not saying what he did was right, but they were definitely not private moments after that. Speaking about his sexuality to the newspaper, Coote said that he felt a deep sense of shame during his teenage years and told his parents when he was 21 and his friends when he was 25. My sexuality isn't the only reason that led me to be in that position, he said, but I'm not telling an authentic story if I don't say that I'm gay and that I've had a real struggle with dealing and hiding that. I hid my emotions as a young ref and I hid my sexuality as well. A good quality as a referee, but a terrible quality as a human being, he said, and that's led me to a whole course of behaviours. He has spoken as police investigate threats and abuse directed at referee Michael Oliver following Arsenal's game against Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday. That, of course, being the one where Michael Oliver controversially sent off Miles Lewis Skelly. I imagine it's to do with that. The Arsenal fans, some Arsenal fans, a very small section of Arsenal fans, I must add. Probably not even true Arsenal fans, just getting on the bandwagon, contributing to that. Coote revealed that he received death threats during his career, with some also made towards his late mother. That's unacceptable, that. Can't be doing. I don't understand people sometimes. I really don't. That's horrible. He also said he needed to have an accelerated response tag fitted at his home address so he could speak to police in an emergency. See, that's when things get really bad. Like, that is terrible that he's had to do that. The man is just doing his job, and whether he's doing his job well or not, he does not deserve to get death threats, especially his mother who's passed away. Come on, man. That's horrible. No one should have to go through that. Nobody should have to go through that. He said, I do not recognise myself in the video. Coote was initially suspended by the PGMOL on the 11th of November after a video emerged on social media of him making derogatory comments about Liverpool and the club's former manager Jurgen Klopp. He now says he apologises to anybody I've offended with my actions, and he was not sober at the time the video was recorded. Well, we could tell that, David. On the 13th of November, the newspaper published photos it says were taken during last year's European Championship, alleging that they appeared to show Coote sniffing a white powder through a rolled up US banknote. Everybody who's seen the video will know that it was him, and he was definitely doing that. And that powder, for legal reasons, we cannot say definitely what it was, but come on, guys, we know what it was. We know what it was. It weren't sugar. His conduct is under investigation by the FA and the European football's governing body, UEFA. I mean, he's already suspended. He's already sacked by the FA. So he's done as a referee. Coote told the newspaper that he has been in an incredibly dark place since the photographs at the Euros were published, and he was not sure he'd be here today without the support of his family and colleagues. Well, good on them for supporting him. On the 27th of November, the FA opened a new investigation following an allegation that Coote had discussed giving a yellow card before a championship match between Leeds and West Brom in 2019. He has always denied these allegations. Discussing the events that led up to his sacking, he says his mum died suddenly in 2023, and at the same time his uncle was diagnosed with motor neuron disease. Yeah. So you can see why the FA was like, we want to be supporting him, we want to make sure he's okay, because they would have known that. They would have known all that was happening, which I can't even imagine. In the 2023-24 season, he said he officiated more than 90 games around the world, followed by the European Championship and then the Olympics, and struggled with the pressure and stress of his work, adding the physical and psychological demands on match officials is really significant. I don't recognise myself in the cocaine video. See, well, there we go, he's admitted what it is then. So we don't have to say the alleged white powder. These have said it's coke. I can't resonate with how I felt then, but that was me. I was struggling with the schedule and there was no opportunity to stop. And so I found myself in that position, escaping. Coote told the newspaper he is over his drug habit after having therapy and felt a huge sense of shame for what happened. I'm guilty of doing what I did, but I'm trying to be the best person I can be now. I've taken steps and I'm trying to be the best I can be both from a physical and mental well-being perspective, he said. To other people who are in my situation, I'd say seek help and talk to somebody, because if you bottle it up like I have done, it has come out in some way. BBC Sport has contacted the PGMOL for comment. They will probably not give one, I don't think, with that. So there's a few things I want to talk about with this, to say the least, because it's multifaceted, as it were. There's a lot of different revelations, a lot of different things to cover really when it comes to this. I mean, so the big one really, I mean, just at the end of that, let's just cover the last thing that was said. He's right. He's right in what he says. When you've got things going on, when things are tough, don't bottle them up. And this goes for anybody in any walk of life. Don't bottle them up. Speak to someone. Try and do something. Because if you keep these things inside of you, it's just going to eat away at you. And you're going to do you're going to effectively, you're going to do things that are going to harm yourself. I'm not talking about in the most literal sense, although some people do that, of course. I'm talking about doing stupid things like Coote did. Going out, doing drugs, filming yourself doing them, getting drunk, just things that are not going to help your problem. They're not. They might feel like they do at the time, but in the long run, they won't. They absolutely will not. Now, I just want to say as well on the whole gay thing as well, because, this is a big revelation. This is something that I didn't see coming, to be honest. I don't, like most level-headed people, I don't think most people really care, to be honest, in terms of whether a match official is straight, gay, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You judge them on their refereeing decisions. Now, I applaud him for, of course, coming out. It's never easy. I feel like he probably felt, rightly, maybe with his therapy, maybe with the help that he's been having, that now was the time to do that. Because that's something that's been eating him alive for... he's 42 now, so he's probably... everybody's different at the end of the day, but he's probably known he's been gay for like what? He said since he was 18, so you're talking well over 20 years now. 21, he said he told his parents. So he would have known before. So he's known for at least 20 years, minimum. Probably a lot longer in truth as well. Now, I've got... and I don't want to sound like this cliche thing, I have gay friends too. I do have quite a few gay friends, and some of them are out. Every one of them says since they've been out, things have been better for sure. I got some very good gay friends who are not completely out. They're out to most people. People know. Friends know, but some of their family don't know because they don't feel safe revealing that to their family. And it's really sad that situation has happened, but I understand why they feel that way. It's not without merit, unfortunately. Not everybody today, even in today's society, is completely accepting of people of different sexualities. And sadly, some of those people are kids' parents. Sadly, some of those people's kids, they turn out to be on the LGBT thing as well, somewhere on there. So you get this really horrible situation where, people can come out to everybody except for their own parents. And it's tragic, really. It really, really is. So with being in the spotlight so much, even without the homosexual thing, right? The guy's still got death threats. And I know that shouldn't make a difference. Someone's sexuality should not make a difference. You probably know that too if you're watching this. I'd like to think most of my audience are pretty level-headed when it comes to that. But unfortunately, the people that do these kind of abuses, they are not level-headed in general. So they would probably a small part of the fan base of a club that he did a alleged bad decision against, maybe Liverpool in this case, let's be honest. They've come in for the most flack, really, when it comes to Coote and what he said. Let's just use them as the example here. There'll be somebody there that would take it even further and use that as even more fuel to go and abuse the guy, which is horrible. It's just wrong. It shouldn't happen like that. But I totally get why he feels like that. It's the same reason why a lot of footballers feel they can't come out as gay. It's really tragic. Even in England, even in a tolerant, modern Western society, or what's alleged to be, there are still sections of fan bases that hurl homosexual abuse, homophobic abuse at players. They just do. Who was it now? Was it, I think it was Billy Gilmore years ago when he was playing for Norwich. The guy got homophobic abuse from Liverpool. I think it was a Liverpool fan, wasn't it? During a game. He's not even gay, or at least he's not out as gay. So imagine what would happen if there's another footballer that has come out as gay. And I know there've been a few now. There's been a couple ones. One for Blackpool a few years ago. Good on him for doing that. But you can see why people are, so apprehensive to do this. And this just opens up a whole can of worms about another discussion, which I've gone on for a while already, to be honest. I'm not going to open that one. But at the end of the day, I totally get why he felt he couldn't come out. I know there'll be some people that would say, why didn't you just come out? Why didn't you just do it? There's no other gay referee. No other gay male referee I can think of, can you? So there's no yardstick there to compare himself to. There's no trailblazer for him to follow. He's the trailblazer, effectively, when it comes to that. So I totally get why he felt he couldn't do it and didn't feel safe doing it, because you're giving people even more ammunition to hate you. And it shouldn't be like that. But it is. It is. There's some people in society that's still like that. It's wrong. But it is what it is right now. And it's not going to go change anytime soon, I don't think. So, but at the end of the day, like I said at the start, you can't really condone what he's done in terms of his position became untenable. It became, in my opinion, it became untenable after the first video because he said something xenophobic. He said something racist. He very much had a go at Jurgen Klopp for both being not a very nice person, to put it mildly, and also for being German too. So right then and there, gone. With the FA's rules, you cannot do xenophobic abuse in a public forum like that. It can't happen. Kick it out. Say no to racism. They have to get rid of him. Simple as that at that point. And then on top of all that as well, there's the drugs during the Euros, and on top of that as well, you've also got the alleged match fixing. Something that he's still denying, but he's openly admitted, obviously, now that, he was not in a good place when those first two videos were taken, which is, totally understandable, given everything that he was going through. It's understandable that he was not in a good place. I'm not condoning what he did, but I understand why now he was doing what he was doing. I knew he was unwell. I knew there was something going on there in terms of something in his private life. And this was it. And it's been years and years of nerves and pressure and paranoia probably about people finding out that he's gay. That is, that anxiety has always been there. And then you add all the abuse he was getting during his job, which is completely unacceptable. And it's just wrong. Referees are just doing the job. They shouldn't have death threats. They shouldn't have to have hotlines in their houses to contact the police in case of emergency because they're a high-value target. They're the people they're just doing the job. Simple as that. They should not have to suffer that kind of stress. On top of that as well, the fact that he refereed so many matches as well. I know people say, oh, they're paid really well. Yeah, they are paid really well, just like footballers are. But at the same time, they're human beings. They get tired. They make mistakes, and he's made a lot of mistakes, as we know. So it's really sad. It's really, really sad. I don't condone what he's done. He's rightfully been sacked. I applaud him for coming out as gay now. I hope that helps him. I hope he's doing better like he says he's doing better. I hope he continues to do better too. But at the end of the day, he was just a bit of an idiot with some of this stuff he was doing. Like he said right at the end of the article, talk to somebody. If he just did that, none of this would have happened potentially. He would not have had the same kind of pressure and nerves and stress that he has. But there we go. Those are my thoughts on it, guys. I could go on about this for a very, very long time because it is a multifaceted issue. Like I said, it is a story that there is a lot to it, and we're going to hear a lot of reaction from this, I'm sure. But the most important thing, I hope he's doing all right like he says he is. I hope he's well, and I hope he continues to be well, and I hope this revelation has helped him. I hope it has. But guys, what do you think? Because a lot of people are saying this is just deflection tactics and stuff like that, and he's not really addressing the point. He does address the point. He does address the point over the first two videos. He's still denying the final claim about the match fixing, allegedly match fixing, has to say. So I understand that viewpoint too, because the headlines themselves will say, the headline literally for this article says, referee Coote hid sexuality for fear of abuse, which is accurate. I've seen some headlines saying though that, unequivocally, the fact that he was gay, he was hiding that is what made him do that. And I don't want to say made him do that because it didn't make him do that. He still had a choice. He didn't have to do it, but he did. And the reason why he felt like he did is because of all the stress in his life. I think that's why. But it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay to do what he did, personally. Personally for me, I don't care if he's doing drugs on the side. I really don't. But he's doing that in a hotel room paid by UEFA for him to go and officiate Euro 2024 when I think he had a VAR appearance the following day or soon after anyway. So that's when it's not okay. And anybody, if you go on a work trip and you're racking up in the toilet at night or whatever, in between going out and doing like a convention or whatever, or doing these business meetings, that's a problem. Shouldn't be any different for the referees either. But what do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe as well if you want to see some more videos like this. Usually shorter. Usually a lot shorter than this. But yeah, quite a few thoughts, like I said. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.